Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Committee of the Whole this morning. Appreciate everyone coming in on behalf of the board who joined us this morning. We don't have a long agenda, but there are some items on it that I think would be of interest to the public. We also appreciate all those who are going to be joining us virtually this morning as well. So with that introduction, I will ask for a roll call from Clerk Fetting.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Barrios. Here. Commissioner Bardwell.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn is absent. Commissioner Lutz.
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you, Clerk Fetting.
Thank you.
And the meeting was called to order, I assume. Okay. With that introduction. All right, our new business this morning, the first item is stepping up resolution for the mental health at the jail. And Brittany Davis, project coordinator for the Center of Behavioral Health, will be presenting this morning. Welcome.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us. Cool. Thank you again. Good morning. My name is Michaela Williams, and I am the Bail Version Manager at the Center for Behavioral Health and Justice, which is part of Wayne State University's School of Social Work. Today, we want to talk about stepping up technical assistance, which we'll get into a little bit more in a moment. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Center for Behavioral Health and Justice and what we do. Okay, so we are a research center at the Wayne State University School of Social Work that provides technical assistance, best practices, and research for counties across the state of Michigan. We really are focused on enhancing the optimal well-being of individuals with mental illness and substance use disorder that come into contact with the criminal legal system. So that's kind of our area of focus at the center. This is kind of where we're at across the state. This map is actually not quite updated. So we're in all of the UP counties now, but we have various projects to provide technical assistance, research, evaluation on across the state. And again, this is at the intersection of mental illness and substance use disorder in the criminal legal system. So some of the things that we are good at is helping community partners implement best practices, innovative practices across the continuum of care in the criminal legal system, collecting data to help drive decision-making, solving linkage problems with continuity of care, and developing action plans and sustainability for counties. So now I'm going to let Brittany talk a little bit about stepping up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brittany Davis. I'm one of the project coordinators for the Stepping Up Technical Assistance Program. So we're going to start with just a very short video of what Stepping Up National Initiative is.
I think you're touching it. That's good. If not, it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Stepping Up is a national initiative with the goal to reduce the number of individuals that are incarcerated with co-occurring disorder and substance abuse or serious mental illness. Currently, there are 582 counties across the nation that have signed a Stepping Up resolution, and the goal is to bolster cross-system collaboration between behavioral health and our local county jails. Okay, so we talked about the national level. Let's talk about the state that we live in. There are 32 counties in Michigan that have signed a Stepping Up resolution. Of those 32 counties, the Center for Behavioral Health and Justice has provided technical assistance to 18 of those counties. And we're able to do that by the Mental Health Diversion Council through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. We're able to provide free technical assistance to our counties in the state of Michigan. So technical assistance with us lasts anywhere between 9 and 15 months, and it comprises of a series of interdisciplinary meetings, jail-based data collection, and a variety of supportive services. So we start off by engaging community partners, having conversations with the jail and behavioral health systems. At that point, when we get the collaboration and the resolution signed, then we enter into the jail and we do jail mapping processes. We get their process from booking to release, and we're able to give them a kind of spreadsheet of what happens from booking all the way to release. We collect and we analyze data. We're using a validated screening called the Kessler-6. And what that is able to do is it's able to catch individuals that have serious mental illness that might not be presenting in crisis. So it's easy to see somebody that is in crisis when they enter into the jail, but we often miss the people that can deteriorate if they stay in jail without being identified for mental illness. We also identify gaps and offer recommendations, and we're able to do that also through strategic planning. So we have a great strategic planner at the Center for Behavioral Health and Justice. She's able to identify short and long-term goals for the jail itself and to implement that bolstering of cross-system collaboration as a countywide with different services that are in place. So we have 4 key measures that we use when we're collecting data: jail bookings and prevalence. We want to see who's coming into the jail, how long they're staying, and if they're coming back. The average length of stay, which is how long they're staying, connections to care. Are they getting treatment while they're in jail? Is that treatment ongoing after their release? Is there continuation of care? And then we also look at recidivism, if they're coming back. Do you have the same people coming back? We can do something called familiar faces that lets you know how often these individuals that you're seeing are coming back and if they're connected to care. So we also look heavily at the sequential intercept model, which we call the SIM. So we work primarily in intercept 3, which is the jail. And we often notice that what's going right or what's needing help with one intercept connects to another intercept. So not only do we work with intercept 3, but we also look at intercepts 0 all the way to 5, which is your crisis, initial police contact to first court appearance, all the way into sentencing, and how all of those connect. We try to connect all across the SIM in order to make sure that individuals' care is being met. This is a look at who could be involved with our strategic planner. She comes in and she gets everyone together. This is a look at who could be involved at any point. So anyone from community service providers, local law enforcement, judges, prosecutors, the sheriff and jail administrator and jail medical staff. That's who Stepping Up primarily works with when we're inside of technical assistance. We also look at reentry service providers. That's how we're going to maintain the connection to care after someone is released, and then probation and parole as well. And I will hand it back over to Michaela to talk about collecting and analyzing data.
Yeah, so next I'm just going to share a couple examples of the data that we collect. Keep in mind that this is just like 2 or 3 examples, but there are typically 2 separate presentations that are each an hour long on the data that we collect from the jail. So the first one I'll show is the K6 prevalence. So again, the K6 is the Kessler-6 mental health screening tool. And this is some of the counties that we've worked with, what they've found in the counties. One thing that we encourage is that jails continue to do their standard practice of identifying individuals with serious mental illness. But in addition to that, implementing the K6, this is what you'll see is who is being caught by the K6. So a lot of these jails hover around 20 to 30% of individuals that are being caught by the K6, which typically is only about 10 to 15% that's being caught by the jail. So there's a gap there of individuals that are missing services, that are in need of services and care. This is another data example that we look at for length of time within the jail. So you'll have an individual that books in, you'll have identification days, the days in between, and the days change based on the jail and the information that we gather from the jail. But we're looking at identification. So that's when they're being identified as having serious mental illness within the jail. How many days is that from the time that they're booked in? How long from identification to referral? So are they being referred to services, and how long is that taking? And then how long does it take for them to get to services after they're referred? And then length of stay. Typically, what we see for individuals with SMI or co-occurring disorders is that they're in the jail longer than individuals who do not have any issues. So they're taking a lot more time, a lot more resources for the jail, which the jail typically is not positioned to serve, right? These individuals need a lot more care than what the jail can provide them. All right. Okay. So some of our success stories, one, are implementing a standardized screening tool. So that is the K6 typically, but some jails might decide they want to go with a different mental health screening tool. We encourage the K6 because it's a validated screening tool, and it's validated for the jail setting with both men and women, which is not typical for most screening tools. We also look at the development of integrated data reporting and tracking. So one of the things that we've been successful at is bringing together the community mental health and the jail and helping them link their data together so that they're able to identify the individuals that they're both interacting with, and also helps them identify individuals that may not be connected to CMH, but that may need to be connected to CMH. So this just helps with the continuity of care that individuals are getting. And we have the baseline data. So we really encourage jails to use the data that we collect to go after funding, right? Funders want to know what the data is, what the statistics are for certain things. So if you want more mental health services or funding within your jail, this data is a great way to be able to use that. County millages. Some of our counties have been able to pass a millage based off the data that they've gathered to improve their mental health services or even expand their jail to provide better services and support for individuals in there. And then increase budget allocations for the Board of Commissioners. So again, data. This is what we need. This is the data that shows what we need. Is there a way that we can get more support for that? And then last is looking at the expansion of diversion efforts across, again, that sequential intercept model. So outside of just our technical assistance at the jail, the center also offers crisis support services. We offer AOT services, which is it's kind of up and coming, but a lot of technical assistance, and then again, bringing those partners together to collaborate across the system and help the continuity of care for individuals that are in this section. So where we're at, we presented our presentation. This was a shortened presentation, but we presented this to the jail, and they've identified that they would like to participate in stepping up. So next, we need to pass a resolution. And what the resolution is just a commitment to this national stepping up goals. And then that also puts you on the website as being identified as a county that's involved in stepping up national. So after the resolution is passed, our next steps are to get in more with the jail. So we do a site visit with them where we gather a lot of information. We ask a lot of questions just about the inner workings of the jail, the services that they're currently providing, what they hope to provide, what their goals are, and how we can help support them along the way. And then we start our data collection, and then we start to present that back and work towards the goals that they've identified. So again, we're here today to present this to commissioners because we would like your support, and so would the jail. And we also are here to answer any questions that you might have, and want you all to be as involved in the process as however you might want to be. So any questions?
Members of the board, you have questions or?
Sounds like a good program. How long does it usually take to get the data?
The data, it really just depends on how quickly, what the jail's booking is like, right? So in order to have sufficient data, there needs to be a certain number of bookings, collections that are coming in. So it can last anywhere between 3 to 12 months. It really just depends on the jail, their size, and the capacity, and the amount of time that people are booking into the jail.
Commissioner Barnes?
Yes, you've already met with Sheriff Robinson already and his group. You toured the jail.
We have not toured the jail. That is part of our site visit after resolution is passed.
That will be an interesting opportunity for you. Besides the ideas and the plans, how are you funded?
Yeah, so we get funding from the Mental Health Diversion Council through Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay. And we talked about giving the sheriff an opportunity for grants, to get grants.
Mhm.
I guess this is a question for us. If you were to apply for grants that you needed for the program, would that be the sheriff applying for that grant?
So they don't need any grants for us. We provide free technical assistance, but where the data that we provide back to
Right.
them, they can use that data to support any grant funding
And then the sheriff,
applications they have. Yep.
sheriff would be responsible for filling out that grant information
Yes.
or pursuing a grant. And what is AOT? You mentioned AOT?
Yeah, AOT is assisted outpatient treatment.
Okay. That was all.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Any other questions? It's a very intriguing presentation. What came to my mind was, and Sheriff Robinson, maybe you can add to this, in terms of Tuscola County in the last, 10 years, pick a date. What have you seen in terms of mental health situations like this? I know we've had many conversations over with behavioral health and treatment, but what do you see? Where's this going and where have we been? Is it increasing by 20%, 30%? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say we're kind of hovering around that 20 to 30% for most jails. I think what we're seeing and what we saw a lot of after the pandemic was that there's a lot of increased mental health needs around there, right? I think the pandemic kind of exacerbated mental health for a lot of people, and considerably. A lot of people were losing jobs, didn't have a way to get to work, or just kind of in a crisis mode during that time. And so that presented a unique kind of experience for a lot of people. And a lot of people, again, that exacerbated their mental health issues. So we did see in some of our jails a little bit of an uptake during that time, even though jails were also working to keep people out of the jail for social distancing reasons, right? So counties had to get creative during that time of how they were going to support the communities and individuals that were going to be in the jail. But the fact is that a lot of people were still being charged during that time, but they might not have been serving that time in the jail as they typically would just because of social distancing. I think since that time, we've kind of come around to hover again to this 20 to 30%. But what we typically see in this work is that there's a lot of goodwill that wants to be done to serve this population, and counties just aren't quite sure where to begin in addressing it or how to come together in addressing it. A lot of individuals had a lot of differing ideas of things that they want to do or how to address it. And so really it's just about bringing people together to get everyone on the same page, working towards the same goal.
So 20, 30%. And from that standpoint, I mean, I can see that across, we had a few counties up there.
Mm-hmm.
How about Tuscola County? What is Sheriff Robinson, if you could speak just for a moment, what do you see?
I mean, I think it's probably about the same, right?
Is
If
it
not higher.
or higher? So it falls right in line with the average that they're speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So the next step is the board to consider a resolution. Is that correct? Any
Yes.
questions? The resolution was handed out. Is there any pre-questions? It'll be transferred over to Thursday's meeting, but I know I briefed it while I was listening to the presentation, which is not probably the best thing to do, but it seemed pertinent. So the pleasure of the board is to complete the resolution, move it to Thursday, and then,
Sounds good.
right? All right, we'll keep that off the consent agenda. We'll just keep that as a separate item.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Do you have any further questions for us?
I don't. We'll be scheduling the site visit after the resolution is passed, and we would invite any of you all to attend if you'd like to come to that. So again, it's just more information gathering about the county and the jail and their goals. And it just helps, again, like Brittany was saying, walk through that process of the time an individual is coming into the jail, through the time that they're leaving. And a lot of times what we see is that when we invite more partners to that meeting, they have a better understanding of what's happening in the jail and what they're going through. So.
In terms of other partners in this county, have you been in contact with any
Yeah, so
Yes.
the jail will identify who they would like to be involved
I
in that
see,
process. A lot of times, well, it will be whoever's providing mental health services within a jail, they're a key
I
part of this.
see.
And then anyone else that they would like to be involved. So we encourage CMH, Board of Commissioners, anyone, really anyone that wants to be involved.
Well, still very intriguing. Well, on behalf of the board, we thank you. I don't know if the board knows this, but I know this from earlier this morning. I had the opportunity to meet, didn't know Brittany at that time, and she had driven up from Detroit. That was the opening conversation. Where are you from? I drove up this morning, so we wish you a safe travels back and appreciate your time and that you spent with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate your time.
All right,
If you have any questions, I can pass our card around. If you
go right ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay and you're welcome to leave to go back, whatever you desire. All right, well, thank you once again. Moving on to new business, item number 2 is a request to promote Vicki Crumley to a full-time vacant position and hire a vacant part-time person, and Mary Ann Brandt, a register of deeds, will be presented.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm here this morning to inform you that longtime employee Mary Montgomery is retiring at the end of this month, and her last day will be Friday, February 27th. In light of her retirement, I would like to promote Vicki Crumby from her current part-time account clerk 2 position to the account clerk 3 position, effective Monday, March 2nd, 2026. And I would also like to request to fill the vacant part-time account clerk 2 position, and that's going to become vacant once Mary retires and Vicki is promoted. And that is all for me.
Any questions for Mary Ann?
No.
Move to Thursday's agenda
Motion.
for a motion.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Moving forward once again, the 226 seasonal employees hire request by Larry Zaff, a mosquito abatement director.
Good morning.
Morning, Larry.
Commissioners, it's that time of year again when we request to hire all of our seasonal staff for our upcoming mosquito season. Currently, I have a list there of 21 seasonals I'm requesting to hire this year to help us out. These are all pending the results of a background check and a physical. I do have 2 other openings I haven't filled yet. One is for a technician and one is for a utility person. So hopefully we'll fill those 2 positions within the next month or 2, and I'll be back for that request as well. We have a targeted starting date or a tentative starting date of March 30th to begin our larviciding season. I will be bringing 3 of our foremans back a week prior to that so they can help get all of our equipment ready, as well as get all of our no spray signs out there and posted throughout the county. So that's going to take them a while, but that's all I have for you as far as that request. If you have any questions for me?
Members of the board, any questions for Larry this morning? Move it forward to Thursday.
Yeah.
Would you like it on the consent to a regular motion?
Consent would be easier for all of you.
Then we'll do consent. The easier part is the part that made that easier.
Just because it's such a list of long ones. I know employment, we try to always put on that, but I think because it's an annual, I think we would be okay on consent.
Okay, very good. And moving on, Larry, we have purchase requests.
Yes, I have 3 purchase requests for you this morning. That first one there, as you can see, is a request to purchase 6,325 gallons of Control 4.4. That is our truck fogging material for the season. We would be purchasing that through a company called Viseris. This is a product we've used for several seasons now. It's very tried and true, and it always tests well, calibrates well. This year it came in at a cost of $22.69 a gallon. It is an increase of 10 cents a gallon from last season. During our annual insecticide bid that we conduct with the other districts, we held that last month. We did have one other product that came in at $20.94 a gallon, which was $1.75 cheaper a gallon. However, it's a product called Prometheus 4.4. We have never used that product before. It is something that I am going to contact that vendor about. I would like to run a trial of it this season, just to make sure we don't have any issues with it. If that's something we decide to pursue for next season. But I personally would recommend going with what we know at this point. The Prometheus product is available through Azalea. Azalea is a very reputable company, so I am optimistic about how that cheaper product is going to trial and test this season. So something to look forward to. The next request I have is to purchase our BTI larviciding material. This is our granule material we purchased through Valent Bioscience. This material we use to treat all of our standing water throughout the county, which is usually a time we use the most of it during that first initial month of April to wipe out that initial mosquito hatch. We did agree to a contract with Valent. Let's see, that was back in 2024 to purchase this material at a cost of $1, basically $1.286 per pound. Total cost for this season would be $16,460.80. The next request I have for you is to purchase 2 new ULV truck fogging units. These units would be from Clark. We have currently all Clark units except for 2 Guardians. These 2 units would replace 2 worn out units we currently have. When I spoke with Clark about this purchase, did a little negotiating there. If we agreed to purchase 2 new units, they agreed to take almost $4,000 off the total bill, which was nice. I was grateful for. So I have that request as well. And that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Members of the board, any questions for Larry?
I just have a quick one. You have a contract with this BTI. You said that you signed in 2024. How long is that contract?
That's going to run through 2027.
Okay.
When I spoke with the board and we agreed on that back, I believe it was in 2024, throughout the increasing years, or throughout those years until 2027, there was a slight increase for each year. In my opinion, still a very good deal. It was important to me to get that locked in. You never know from year to year how much material is going to increase, and anytime we can lock something in, I think that's a good thing.
All right, any other questions? Move this to Thursday on consent agenda?
Yeah.
All right, approval of the board to move it to Thursday for the consent agenda. Thank you very
Great.
much, Larry.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very much,
Commissioners.
Appreciate it.
And moving to number 5, medical care community funds transfer request. And Erica Dibble, our control administrator, will be presenting that request.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the standard request that we receive from the medical care requesting transfer from the millage dollars to their standard fund. They provided all of the necessary backup that's in your packet.
Any questions for Erica? Move it to consent agenda Thursday? All the heads are shaking yes.
Yep.
The other consent agenda. Well, very good. Thank you everyone for that. Thank you, Erica. And then moving on to number 6 is the 2025 financial update, Connie Kindness, Chief Accountant. Should it be 2026? 25? Still, oh, just, all right. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm Connie Kindness, Chief Accountant for Tuscola County. Today, I'm going to provide a financial update for the general fund as of February 6, 2026, along with year-end considerations and other focus on and goals for 2026. The information is unaudited and subject to change as we finalize fiscal year-end procedures and complete the audit process. And the original 2025 budget, the county planned $650,958 for fund balance in the general fund. This is part of the approved budget plan and reflected anticipated expenditures and revenues at that time. In October 25, the board approved a budget amendment that reduced the expected use of fund balance by $192,084, bringing the revised expected use to $428,172. This reduction reflected improved financial projections and adjustments during the fiscal year. As of February 6th, the general fund had used $195,258 of fund balance, which is trending approximately $232,914 lower than expected compared to the revised budget. This is a positive trend and indicates improved fiscal performance relative to projections. However, these numbers are still preliminary and subject to change as the fiscal year closes and the audit is completed. Several items that will impact the fund balance is outstanding 2025 expenditure invoices before February 28th, 2026. Expected revenues also will impact it before February 28th, 2026. Auditor adjustments, internal fiscal year procedures currently in progress. Audited fieldwork begins today, February 9th, 2026, with additional fieldwork scheduled for the week of March 23rd and March 30th. Looking ahead for 2026, our primary focus areas are included completing the Michigan Universal Chart of Accounts conversion in BS&A, which is required by state of Michigan and was noted in the audit findings in 23 and 24. Continuing to improve financial processes and workflows, strengthening compliance with government accounting standards and regulations. These initiatives are designed to increase transparency, improve efficiency, and ensure ongoing regulatory compliance. Our goals for 2026 are included conducting regularly scheduled budget review sessions with departments, collaborating with departments to reduce expenditures and identify revenue opportunities, shifting to a proactive budget management approach rather than a reactive corrections. Improving budget preparation processes for 2027 fiscal year, identifying interdepartmental efficiencies and opportunities for operational improvement. In closing, the county is trending favorably of fund balance use for 2025, and we are actively working on fiscal year-end closeout and audit coordination. We will continue to work closely with departments to strengthen fiscal controls and budget planning. Thank you. Is there anything?
Members of the board?
How long the audit process approximately?
The audit will be finalized in June.
June, okay. And they're starting today, or they're
Yes.
today? Okay.
Yes.
We're hoping it'll be finalized prior to June.
Right.
Yeah.
But the deadline is June 30th.
I have a question.
Commissioner Barris?
On completion of the universal chart of accounts that were noted in the audit findings in 2023 and 2024, how far along are you on that?
I went through a lot of line items. I went through, I reviewed and converted 7,591 accounts so far, and I have approximately 200 accounts remaining.
200
Yes.
remaining?
And it is a 10-phase approach, and we are currently in phase 1.
What are the 10 phase? I don't understand what is the 10 phase approach.
So it's through BSNA. The first phase is identifying the accounts or line items that are not matching the standard. Phase 2 is sending a test file to BSNA to be reviewed to make sure that they can be converted in that fashion. We're working with BSNA so that it's not just switching Fund 1 to Fund 2. It is switching all of the historical data. So we do not have to say, oh, well, that fund used to be Fund 1. So now if I want historical record, I have to look up Fund 1, but current, I have to look up Fund 2. BSNA is going to move all of that history over for us. So once they approve the file, then becomes we have to do a lot of work on our end to prep, make sure we have everything backed up with our IT department. There's many steps in there before they pull the trigger. And then after they pull the trigger, it's auditing to make sure that all of the data did indeed come over. This is a massive project, and I don't mean to take over your time. I did notify the departments that this is happening. Things are going to be changing. Our fund numbers will be changing. And I tried to be as proactive with the departments as possible that it's probably going to be painful because everyone is used to having, I know my fund number. I know mine is 101-223. I have it memorized. I have reports memorized. So those are the things where, in addition to changing, we're going to have to work with the departments to help them learn where to go to find those things. We're also going to have to change everyone's access. So for example, Clerk Fetting, her access in BSNA is to her funds. So if I don't update that access, she's not going to have access to her current numbers once they're switched over. So it's a phased approach, and it will include some blackout dates, which we're going to work with the departments. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're not blacking out at a critical point. So once we get to that phase, we will work with the departments to find the best day that we can to have the system be shut down and no one will be able to access BSNA. And we're hoping to keep that as minimal as possible.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Oh, before you go, Connie, I have questions. And I realize you came in the county at a very difficult time. Both of you came in at a very difficult time. Here's A few things that I just wanted to note. Clint projected the 659.58 for 25, and you had reduced that. But we also, out of that, if we take that from $1.9 million, that's about $1.2 million that we had to find in this 25 to balance the budget. I think that's somewhat fairly accurate to say that. At $1.9 million, we're projected, if we still use the old projection that Clay had in 26, we're like 2.2 million in the red. And that's with the all transfers. That's what's projected. So if it was 650 and we hit $1.9 million, this year, we're facing a wall somewhere. Perhaps, maybe not. But from the looks of it, we look good under the fund balance. We started out with 6.3 million. I'm assuming that's the 26. And we deducted our expenses of 195. We come up with 6,149. I'd like to see the fund balance split out between restricted and non-restricted and anything else. Because we combined the fund balance with our ARPA funds or our GSP funds. Because here's the situation. We're going into 26. We don't know exactly where we're going to end up. We have CLAD's numbers, which are over a year old. We've gone to the unions and said, we can't give written increases. From looking at this, it looks like we're pretty solvent. I'm concerned about that, not only in the sense that I want to make sure this board makes the right decisions that are credible with your help, with everybody's help. We all want that. So when I said, is this 26, I was thinking, after talking to the chair last week, that we would be getting some kind of insight on 26. I know we got to finish up 25, and every day you got to do the daily stuff too, so it doesn't leave a lot of window there to work on anything like that. But on behalf of the board, and the board can speak up, I'm just concerned about where we're headed. And all we have is, this was back in September 11th. That was, I believe it was the Committee of the Whole. Might have been a Board of Commissioner meeting. It was in the, you can go back and look it up. It was a package. How do you see us ending up? Do you think we're going to be worse than 2.2? Because if 25 was predicted to be 650 in the red, where are we going?
Well, what I saw was we had more revenues than expected. That's one case. We didn't know some of the revenues that we were going to get. That's one case. That's why I brought it down. We are strong, but we're using less fund balance than anticipated, which is a very good trend. But we got to keep that up in future years. We can't keep using fund balance.
Well, that's the whole point of what Clayette was predicting, and we were trying to figure out what was going to happen in 25. Typically with our fund balance, it gets split up into restricted and non-restricted. In other words, some is committed and what we have left is what's left. I mean, it's like the ARPA funds were non-restricted, so to speak, and then when they get, I'll call them GSP now. And maybe I'm mistaken on this, but I mean, I can pull up prior financial projections where you can see, because there's a pot of money out there, general fund plus, that is limited. And you said that. I mean,
Yes,
you can't
very
keep
limited.
looking at the expenditure.
Yeah, you can't keep going.
No, you can't keep going, but yet we've got to look in the future crystal ball to see before the end of the year, are we going to be trekking another 1.9 or less or more, right? I mean, that's what we want to know, because we'd have to make adjustments now for then. On the other hand, related to the unions, I'm we're tracking along. This is sort of an upside down, I don't know how to, because once, I can tell you from a negotiation standpoint, if I looked at this, I would probably be revisiting. Because we don't have any sense of being in the red yet, do we? Because we got additional revenue, but we don't know what that additional revenue was in the amount.
Commissioner, we are still trending with use of fund balance. It is just not 650,000 as to date. So it did come down because we reduced expenditures and increased some revenue, but there is still a use of fund balance.
Yes.
So on the original slide, page 2, this is the 2025 budgeted breakdown. And it does show you the unrestricted or unassigned versus the restricted. And then in addition to that, in the 26 budget,
So what are you reciting? Is this on, this is not on the screen, is it?
yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I see it now.
That's the one.
So this
Unassigned,
is
yeah.
broken down, and I understand the red line is over, but the non-spendable 597,000 assigned use of fund balance, which is what we're discussing, that is being reduced. And then in the peach colored, that is the 17% reserve that we have to maintain.
Yes, you have to maintain that, yes.
And then the remaining is the unassigned, excuse me, or available funds in the 2.1 million. So this is the based on 25 budget numbers. And so we're saying in this presentation, we're reducing that 650,000, which will positively impact the use of fund balance, which will increase our fund balance slightly. But we're currently at 200,000 use. We expected to use 650,000. Now, there could be invoices coming in that are 425. So what we're doing right now is we're in the, it doesn't look terrible, but hold until the end, because we need to make sure that any invoices are received are accrued back.
Yes.
So when I looked at them, when I mentioned the restricted, I see it split up, but there's nothing in the restricted, it's just 597. And this, it says obviously 25, and 25 is the 650, no doubt. But we took out somewhere, as I recall, 1.9.
We did not take out 1.9.
1.9 was the beginning of the 26
26,
budget.
which was the rough draft of the budget with all department requests and
Correct.
so
For 26.
for 26. So that's
For
not,
26.
yeah, so this is only, we're talking 25
This is
now.
25, right?
Yes.
It's the 650. I mean, I know you're closing the end of the year. But the 1.9 is what's hinged out there that, well, we haven't addressed that yet, have we?
Are
I mean,
you
you've
talking
addressed it.
the deficit, the potential deficit of the budget when we were doing the department request? Is that the 1.9? Or are you talking about available balance of 1.9?
Well, let me ask, what do people think the 1.9 represents? This has been put out there.
What 1.9 are you talking about?
Well, there's only 1.9 I'm familiar with, right?
What is
For
it?
26?
That's what I'm asking. What is
Oh.
it that people are saying that the 1.9 is for 26, that they
Okay.
know from the union standpoint, and everyone else in departments who made cuts, they had to come up with 1.9, we had to come up with 1.9 to balance the budget for 26.
Vice Chair, is that from Clayette's projections?
No, the 1.9 was out of,
That was
think
our,
out of yours.
that was our rough draft of the budget when, so all the departments put in their requests. And then we did, again, if it was not specifically addressed, we used what was requested in 25. That was our initial
Right.
Yes.
I
draft
remember that. Okay.
budget. And then some of the 1.9 was corrected with department head help. Hey, we can reduce our expenditures here, we can increase our revenues here. And other ones was cleanup. So between Connie, myself, as well as help from the treasurer, we found that there were expenditure lines that had not been used in a few years. There were revenue lines that were not used. So we did a deep dive cleanup, and I provided you with that summary of all the line items that were corrected. So some of them were corrections, some of them were cuts to come up to a balanced budget for 26. So, but what I asked Connie to provide you today was a recap of 25 and where we're trending, because the fund balance, the opening 26 balance matters to be able to provide you a 2026 projection. So we wanted her month one, her financial presentation, to be of 25. Now, moving forward, she can take that number as your opening balance for 26. So next month, when she provides you an update, you'll understand why that number does not match what you believed it to be when you pass the budget for 2025. So we're trying to help build that understanding, because if she comes in here and presents you 26 numbers with an opening balance that doesn't match what your original budget said, you're going to ask, well, why? Why does that number, that isn't the number that was on the original budget? Right. And here's why.
Well, that's the, let me just see if I can reframe this. That's the accuracy part. Like you need the 2025 to do the 2026.
Yes.
All right. That's great. But that really never happens because 25 is really not done until what, June, May? You really don't get a number
We're trying to get it
sooner.
sooner.
Yes.
So normally those in finance would have a range. All right, going into 26, this is what we think, and we're going to use that range to project the 26 numbers. So when we get into 26 to do 27, we're not at 2.2 or whatever this class number is. See what I mean? Because now, like we did last year, we wait until May or June, which we went beyond that. And it was fall before we actually knew what was going on. The flip side of this, again, is in negotiations. Are we convincing enough to say that we are in a potential financial difficulty? Because that's what we're saying. Now, the reason I say this, I said this a number of years ago when I was on the negotiating team. This was back with Administrator Hoagland. And what I told the union on behalf of the board, which was what was being said to say, was not true. And I haven't forgotten that. In other words, it was a cry of wolf, so to speak, but it was not that severe. My only concern is not to relive that for this board as a total or the county. But that's just one segment in terms of how we're being viewed. The other is, and ladies and gentlemen, at some point, if you go into the 26 for 27 and you got to pull out another, pick a number. Where's that going to come from? That's what I'm trying to get to, realizing you're really in the minutia. You're really trying to figure out 25 yet, and that's the 650, and you're reducing it. I mean, you're trying not to spend all that.
Right.
So it will go into the 26. But that's far from what may be needed. I don't know. The thing about being a commissioner, it's great detail that you provide, but the detail, I mean, all the spreadsheets, it's better, and I know I requested this once, 20% of something means 80% of something. So 20% of your, what's giving us the revenue, 20% of these items is giving us 80% of the revenue. It's much easier to look at and make decisions at a higher level than it is on a spreadsheet. Now, gentlemen, you may find that different if you're spreadsheet prone, but I am certainly spreadsheet prone, and going through, I understand that. There's a lot of line items. But from the board's perspective and their limited exposure, that you guys have very innate exposure financially here, we don't have the breadth and depth, and we can only discern what we're told to make decisions. And as finance chair, which I'm willing to provide to anyone else who would like it now. As finance chair, I just a bit reticent in terms of, I don't want to repeat last year, portions of last year, this year. I didn't mean to take this lecture, so to speak, so far, but looking forward, yes, I know we have to have the 25, yes, to get the 26, but it's going to be in a range that's whatever it is, but yet we need to be looking in the future in terms of expenses, because we can't continue to approve expenses if they're going to accumulate near the end. And since these are lagging, you don't know till the end.
Right.
Even though it's budgeted, it could be, go ahead.
Vice Chair, can I make a comment?
Oh, absolutely.
I think,
Glad you would.
I think, and help me, a part of the 1.9 was an across the board, no increases, correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
So I think none of us, I'm speaking for myself, let's take myself. I don't think that that is ever going to take place with no increase. So I think that's where the 1.9 is not happening because of one of the things is the 0%. And if we come back and it's not 0%, we're going to be going not all the way to 1.9, but, and I think that's,
Something.
yeah. And so in response to your concern, yes, I think I agree with you that we don't want to cry wolf, but on the same token, this is, we base the budget on 0%.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Yep.
that's correct.
So next month we'll have a
Absolutely.
better outlook because you'll be pulling in 26 then.
Yes.
Yes.
As it was noted, right, this is, we're planning to do this once a month. So this is step one. January, we should be revisiting 25 to see where we're trending. That is going to change as we go. We are aware of that. You are aware of that. The other thing is this format here, the all funds, was what was presented to you in the past. So we were following the past method of how it was presented to you. So if you would like it presented to you differently, we are open to that. We were just using the method we believed you were used to seeing it in. Also, I understand we want to be transparent with the unions as well as our citizens, our taxpayers. So the 17% is a 60-day rollout of our expenses. So now, because our unassigned is roughly the same, that means right now we have enough in the bank for 4 months. That's all we have. So if there were to be some sort of catastrophe and we received no dollars, we could operate for 4 months. In my opinion, that is not secure.
No.
Right? But that's my opinion. So I understand that it does look like a lot of money to someone that said, oh, there's roughly $5 million in your fund balance, and you're saying only 2 of it is usable. You're right. Because of the rollout, because of the 17%, which is 2 months. So if we add those two together, we have roughly 120 days.
That makes a lot of sense. And on that chart that you had up there, you flip that up. Right underneath that, I think that's, I can word it, it's right underneath the highlighted with red. I think that's the 17% assigned, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, that's what we've been trying to avoid using, because that's part of your 4 months, obviously.
The 2.9.
Yeah, the
The
2.9.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
In the
that is the
past, we was
17% of
10%.
expenditures.
So, I mean, and our discussions on 10%, but no matter what you do, you will erode the financial viability of the county. To take it back probably a month, I don't know what 10% would look like, but
Well, it's roughly 8% a month,
8%.
8.5% a month,
okay.
right? So
But Eric, ain't that 17% a moving target I mean, it's not 17% all the time,
It should be 17% all the time,
from month to month.
month to month.
Okay.
That's required.
If everything stopped, that's how long we could survive, basically. With
'Cause we're
the
used to
projected
10%.
expense.
Yes,
In the past, we were 10%, now we're 17.
Right.
But
correct.
that's required.
Yeah.
But I think, maybe I'm wrong. Connie and Erica, you're into this fully. In the past, was our expenses, was our uncertainty greater or less? We probably all thought it was greater back then as well than it is today. And I think that's why we raised it to 17% for the fact that of the uncertainty financially. Is that true or untrue? I mean, have you sensed and I know both of you are
I
fairly
was not
new.
here, I was not here then. I believe that, well, I can see that policy became effective for 25-24, which was after Clayette retired, when Neil was present. Now, however, that is accurate. I mean, the state recommends 17%. So,
It's required. It's not, we have no choice.
It's required now?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have a choice.
so
Solves that.
it does protect, it does protect the county to have that much set aside.
So realistically, what we're saying is if we start eroding into that 2.9, we start moving that, we are not in great shape
No.
because we're taking out of our reserves.
Correct. So we need to focus on the unassigned, which is on the 25 budget was the 2.1. So we are still eroding into that for 2026 because we have a budget, we had a budgeted use of 650. We were able to put that down to 400. Now we're saying we're trending at about 200,000 use of that 2.1 million. However, there could be some invoices still coming, but there is a potential for more revenue coming too. Grant reimbursements sometimes don't come back. You don't get paid back from the state in the month in which the expenditures occurred.
Right.
And the unassigned, the 2.1, that's the GSP?
Includes the PGS.
PGS, I'm sorry, got
Yes.
it backwards.
Yes.
PGS.
It does
Oh, right
include
here, I
that.
see it. I'm calling it
It's not
something else.
all PGS though.
Yes.
It should be all PGS.
It
That's-
is all PGS.
Yeah.
Well, it's all in one bucket now.
Yeah, that's what
So-
I mean.
Right.
It's all one bucket. It's all, that is all. That is all you have.
Right.
That's it.
But what portion of that is what Commissioner Cook is asking, I'll rephrase, what portion of that is PGS versus something else?
I am unaware of the split. We had the tracker, which I did present to you back 6 months ago or so, because we no longer have to track that.
Right.
So we
I was just
provided you with the
curious.
tracker up to the time in which it was merged.
No, it's just all one.
It's all one bucket.
So that is our pillow, our cushion, so to speak, because if it wasn't for ARPA, we, like the windmill revenue a number of years ago, you can see the difference. That's why I was asking, is this split up? Is there something else in that? But as I recall, 2.1 is what was left over from
Yeah,
the 10 million.
That's pretty close
Um,
to what was left in there when we
Yeah.
stopped the tracker.
And that's what we're trying to avoid. So when on the 650, this is 25, we're drawing it down. It'd be great to get it to zero, and then we have 650. The good news is not more than 650.
That's the good news.
That's
The good news is
Work my way around that one to find
we are
something
not
positive.
using as much as we anticipated. We are still using.
Yeah.
We are still using fund balance.
Yeah.
It's preliminary because of the audit.
Right.
Because we've got things that we have to accrue back.
That's correct.
Well, when do you think, not knowing what you face day to day, but when do you think you'd have a 25 number that is more,
The audit is finished.
Well, we can give you preliminary numbers after February 28th. February 28th is when we stop accruing back. So
Okay.
any revenue received after February 28th is no longer accrued back. Any expenditures, even for a prior year,
Yep.
after February 28th is not accrued back.
That makes sense.
So the only other things after February 28th that would impact it are at the auditor's direction.
Yes.
So they say, this is for 25 and so they literally provide us with instructions and we do what they say at that point. So after February 28th, we can give you a more accurate assessment of what we believe to be true. And then subject to change until June 30th.
Correct.
Is that fair?
But,
Yep.
Vice Chair,
Yes.
after the February 28th figure that we get, I would like to see a finance committee meeting call pretty soon after that.
That would be
Of
excellent
course, everybody-
suggestion.
Everybody's willing to come or whatever, but
That'd be great. Let's plan on doing that after the 28th.
Also, if I may, we're not doing this alone. So as Connie said, a lot of departments, they started reducing their expenditures
Right.
in
Yes.
25 as well as 26. And I've been working with the treasurer. We would like to start having more frequent budget meetings so that the department heads, they can see where they're trending. And we can also coach them on how to run their own reports and how to monitor their budgets to stay under budget. So those are things that we want to start doing
Yes.
and working hand in hand with the departments. Again, as Connie stated, we want to be proactive, not reactive.
And it's probably hard to understand, I'm assuming, I've looked at this report or something we've had before where there's a lag between revenue and expenses, so you're over budget, but you're gonna get reimbursed. It's really, I don't know how you keep track of that line by line, but somehow you do it or not. I don't know, but that's always important, especially when you talk about who's over budget and all right, so those were just a few of the questions that I had at this time, that just looking towards the unknown and trying to make sense. How close was Clay at? Or not? Hopefully it was overstated, so to speak, going forward. And with your departure in March or transition, Connie, you're. I don't know what. You're,
thank you.
thank you, yeah. very
thank
good.
you very
Thank you.
Very-
Thanks, Connie.
Appreciate what you folks do. It's just difficult to answer questions, as you know. Yeah. Any other questions from any of the members of the board?
Thank you.
So more to come.
Thank you, Connie.
Thanks again.
Well, that was a grueling, thought-provoking discussion. All right, that completes all the new business. Is there any old business? Doesn't seem to be any old business. Anything from finance technology this morning? Nothing? Anything new on AI and its intervention to the county and how the county can use AI or not? Any updates on that?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing you want to reveal? All right, this time, I understand. Moving on to building and grounds, anything?
No, back to you, sir.
Nothing? Okay, very good. Personnel, anything with Commissioner Barrios?
Nope. Nothing.
All right, any other businesses necessary? Hearing, seeing none. Public comment period. Anyone like to address the board publicly, either virtual or in the boardroom? Please step forward to the mic and state your name and township you're in.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Happy Monday as well. My name is Briar Bears, and I'm here to introduce myself as a candidate for state representative in our
97th State Rep District. I'm running as a Republican to replace our current representative, Matthew Beerline, as he moves on to the state senate. A little bit about me. I'm a resident of Mr. Lutz's District 4. I'm a 2018 graduate of Millington High School, and I'm a 2022 graduate of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. For the past several years, I've served as a reconnaissance platoon leader, leading the best men and women that the U.S. Army has to offer. I was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas, on the U.S. southern border, and also deployed overseas in defense of Eastern Europe. Now, after almost a decade of service, I'm returning home with my wife to continue serving the people of our community in the 97th District, those same people that gave some kid from the sticks of Millington a chance to earn a spot at a place like West Point. So I find it imperative that our communities have a representative in Lansing who promotes our local values while fighting for a prosperous state that our families want to live, work, and raise a family in. Such a state requires a few things, like the reversal of the deindustrialization that's crippled our county and the families within that county. Such a state requires an increase in affordability at the pump, at the energy bill, and at the grocery store. And such a state requires a tax structure that allows our hardworking families to keep more of their paycheck while fight to lower the state income tax. And also, that same state would require a reform in our education system. I think the best education comes from the parents and our local leaders rather than some overpaid educational figureheads in Lansing. So I've been leading high-performing teams for a long time, last decade or so, and I look forward to being a leader for you all in Lansing. To get there, I'm going to need a lot of help. And I'm not here to ask for an endorsement because I know here in Tuscola County we earn what we get, and I look forward to earning that on the campaign trail. What I will ask is an open line of communication with the board so I can better understand the issues you guys face at the county level so that when I do get to Lansing, I can be of best service for you and your mission here at the county level. So in parting, I'll say I don't think we need more politicians in state government. I think we need more leaders, and I look forward to being just that. So thank you guys for your time today. I look forward to meeting you more on the campaign trail. Any questions for me, sir?
Pleasure to the board.
I do. I just want to say that people in Millington are really proud of you. Thank you for your service, and look forward to seeing you some more.
Sir, thank you.
I have one on behalf of the board, and from years of seeing this, and especially with Matt, who's sat right next to me. Here's what I'd like to see on behalf of the board. When you're elected, that you do not forget Tuscola County, and that you're part of your circuit within the region that you represent is coming to the board and updating the board on legislative content of Lansing. We have lifted up other representatives and senators, but that always seems to be on the back burner. And it's always difficult to get someone in here to bring us up to date. Fortunately, we have MAC, and if you tune in virtually, which if you're running, I'm sure you're getting involved with MAC.
Sir.
Sure. That fills that role at times. And unfortunately, we need to see the representatives. The people need to see the representatives, which I think they do well in terms of their meet and greet meetings. But from the board perspective, don't forget us.
Sir, I can assure you that the only reason I'm here in front of you today is because of the people at Tuscola County and everything they've done for me. And the only reason I'm running is to serve those folks. So I look forward to coming back here on the campaign trail, and also once I take office in January, and not only giving you updates, but hopefully working together so we can help out Tuscola and Saginaw County as well.
We wish you the best.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anyone else like to address the board this morning? Public comment? Anyone else? Anyone else? Hearing or seeing none, nothing's being flagged virtually. We will end the public comment period, but let the minutes show that we did offer public comment, and Briar Barris presented. With that concluded, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Luce to adjourn at 9:15. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are now stand adjourned. Thank you.